Good afternoon. You're watching Businessworld Live. I'm Jes Delos Santos. Let's take a look at how the local bourse closed today, Wednesday. Okay, traders taking cash for a second day as shares surpassed declines seen on Tuesday. The PSEi today retreated 0.7% to 6,943, with all counters in the red. Services shedding the most, down 1.3%. Offshore investors also continue to dump local stocks for a third day with net sales at 212 million pesos. The sell-off persisted even as vaccine czar Carlito Galvez assured that the country is set to receive some additional 30 million jabs all the way to August. You have 16 million this month and another 14 million next month. Now, this follows holdups in shipments, which pushed some cities to actually halt their vaccination drives. Now, looking at our leaders and laggards here, only 3 of the 13-member index are in the green, headed by Bloomberry with a 0.6% gain here. DMCI is the session's worst after it, together with Marubeni, turned over the LRT2 East Extension project to the Transportation Department. That undertaking was awarded to them back in 2019. DMCI now at 6 pesos and 42 apiece after that 4% decline. You have other stocks here losing by as much as 2% here. There's Security Bank, GT Capital, and Robinson's Retail. Also joining the retreat here is Emperador, even as it divulged that it might be headed to Singapore for a second listing. Exciting sources, Bloomberg said that the liquor maker is mulling raising as much as $742 million. The sources said that Emperador might go public in the city-state before the year ends. Now, the liquor unit of Alliance Global is also in the red today, down 1.5% to 12 pesos and 10 centavos a share. But year to date, Emperador is still the second best performing stock, up by 19.8%. This time, let's leave the equity space for a look at our local currency. That has dropped its weakest level yet in more than a year on the back of increasing volatility and spike in imports and oil prices here. Nikki Mapa of ING says there might actually be a rebound, though, especially in the if the proceeds from a $3 billion sovereign bond sale will be converted into pesos. Again, looking at this chart right here, you have the peso already touching 49.790 to the greenback, already a hairline away from the 50 peso level. Here are other headlines we're keeping our eyes on. Top officials admit some delays in COVID-19 vaccine shipments. The arrival of additional Sinovac vaccines faces a 2-week delay and is expected by July 18, although the National Task Force is working to pull this schedule earlier to next week. The arrival of 170,000 Sputnik V vaccines from Russia was also rescheduled to a later date due to logistical issues. Meanwhile, Chief Implementer Secretary Charlie Galvez says over 3 million vaccine single-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccines can be expected this month. In separate news, Sinovac is looking to acquire emergency use authorization for its vaccines to be administered to minors aged 3 to 17. The Food and Drug Administration is now studying the matter. For the private sector, government should not focus its attention solely on vaccination. Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry President Benedicto Yuhico says strategic reopening in low-risk areas could be pushed to aid the economy without risking infection.
Going to be a complete solution to the COVID-19. I think we should consider another factor, which is we have to learn how to live safely with COVID-19. Selective opening, I think, will be the best alternative for us.
The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines says repairs to the cable link connecting separate grids in Visayas and Mindanao may be completed this year. Repairs for the Mindanao-Visayas interconnection project had been delayed due to the damage in certain submarine cables and the implementation of travel restrictions. the NGCP says the repairs will require another cycle of procurement, awarding, and cable laying. Meanwhile, the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry says the NGCP should ensure adequate power reserves after the rotational power disruptions back in June. PCCI President Benedicto Uico insists businesses should not be burdened with buying power generators just to keep operations going. Early on in the pandemic, ride hailing services were sidelined, not just over permit concerns, but also because of heightened health protocols. But as mobility picks up, these platforms like Angkas have become essential players in the opening up of the economy. Now, to get updates as to how they are doing, we have on the show David Medrana, Angkas Head of Operations. Good afternoon, David. Okay, David, I think you are on mute. Can we just check your audio again?
All right. Good
All right,
afternoon,
good. I
Jess.
can hear you now. All right, so David, to kick things off, how are operations doing now for Angkas? Is ridership already recuperating, or is it still below pre-pandemic levels?
Well, it's still below pre-pandemic levels now. We know naman that the main business of Angkas is back riding, and many passengers or users of Angkas are still is still on lockdown or is still working at home right now. But ever since the pandemic started naman, we already try to adapt to compensate for the requirement of our bikers now in terms of their income. We shifted our services to padala and pabili, which helped them in some way no, to cover for the loss of income from the back riding services. And good news is, way back December, we already went back to back riding with some additional requirements from the government.
Now, let's focus first on back riding. How's ridership at the moment? Can you give us at least percentages if there are at least some levels of growth that you've seen since reinstating the service back in December?
Yeah, we are growing 20% per month. But right now, we're still at about 30 to 40% from the pre-pandemic numbers.
Okay, so 20% at least growth level per month. However, on one hand, you have of course your pabili service as well. How's that going along?
Last year, no, it was doing very good. No? But right now, since the economy opened up, no, it has been lowering on a month-to-month basis.
Lower by how much? If you can just nuance that a bit for us.
It's declining by about 30% per month.
Okay, a decline by 30% a month. So would you say, in a way, that's one of the more or less repercussions or consequence of the economy reopening up more and more, a possible downturn here when it comes to your pabili services?
That's pretty much true, yes.
Now, how many riders do you have now in your fleet at the moment? Is there a continuous acquisition of talents as well?
Right now, we're not actively onboarding new bikers because we still have a lot of bikers under our fleet. No, but right now, in terms of active basis, we only have about 15,000 bikers active per month.
Okay,
That's pretty
what's
much
go ahead, go
much
ahead.
lower than our previous numbers of about 25,000.
Okay, now what's the plan here, especially when it comes to the vaccination of your riders? What's your strategy here? What's the game plan? And how many of your riders have already been vaccinated?
Right now, based on our numbers, we already have vaccinated about 30% of our bikers, of our active bikers. And based on willingness, it's about 98% that are willing to be vaccinated. So right now, we are working with LGUs to allow us to be given slots for our bikers to be prioritized since we are frontliners naman in this business.
Now, also going back to the bike riding service, would you say one major holdup as well when it comes to acceptance of the service once again from the riders is that there are, of course, additional health protocols? Is it in a way a holdup here?
That's one of the main pain points right now, no? Especially for passengers because they are now being required by the government to bring their own helmets. No, right now a helmet costs about 1,000 pesos, and that's the cheapest price right now. And you can't ride on a cost right now without bringing your own. So it's pretty much costly right now to invest in one.
And also, when it comes to your public service, one concern, of course, the market is quite already saturated. You have a number of platforms already. How are you faring compared to compared to your competition?
Well, we admit naman that deliveries is really not our strength. No? That's why we are trying to bring back our back riding services as much as we can. But right now, we're still doing good naman from what our previous experiences were in terms of deliveries.
Okay, now any updates regarding the pilot run? Last time we heard that was, of course, extended beyond December. But what's the latest? Until when will the pilot run be held?
Right now, actually, by 3:30, we will be holding our TWG's meeting later, no, to get further updates, no, on the pilot run. By tomorrow, there's also a Congress hearing, no, in terms of yun nga, regulating the motorcycle taxi industry na. Hopefully, we get a good report by tomorrow as well.
But what's the goal here for Angkas, at least in the near term, when it comes to getting finally an official license to operate as a ride-hailing service?
Well, definitely legalization. That's the main goal for us. No? We have been doing this for quite some time now. We have been shut down for a couple of times. And basically, you know, the main goal is for us to be legalized so we can already grow these services and assist more bikers, no? Making them professionals in this industry.
Now, you are also partnering with the Energy Department to monitor pump prices and fuel stations. How's that going to work, and what exactly will be your role here?
Basically, no, we will be the on-ground monitoring for Department of Energy. Right now, based on their previous statistics, they are only monitoring 30% of the gas stations now on a monthly basis. Now, with Angkas, what we are planning to do is to monitor all the gas stations on a weekly basis in the National Capital Region. And after finalizing the efficiency, we can probably expand it to more provinces in the future.
The plan is to conduct this for how long? Do you have a time frame, at least, for this particular project?
The pilot will run from July to November this year.
All right. Thank you very much again for those updates. You have David Medrana, Head of Operations of Angkas. Thank you, David.
Thank you for having me, Jess.
And those are the biggest stories this trading day, July 7, 2021. Catch Business World Live again tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. for the market open and 3:15 p.m. for the market close. I'm Jes Delos Santos. We are One News. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines.